Hey, welcome back to another one of our public videos here on YouTube. You're going to want to like and subscribe to the channel. We've got a lot of big things coming. Obviously, last week we had a major release called Casino Diversification Toolbox Module 1. And the reason it's Module 1 is because we're going to keep building and building, and we're going to show you what we believe is the best business model, best way to make income in 2025 and going forward. Way better than a lot of the garbage that you're seeing on a lot of the commercials and stuff here on YouTube. No competition. It's evergreen. And the perks are phenomenal when you learn how to make money from the casino. And that casino could be online. It could be brick and mortar. It could be on vacations to Vegas or Biloxi or Atlantic City. Or it could be in your backyard, since now we have casinos in cities all over the country. All right. So that first module, we have it at a very special price right now, Casino Diversification Toolbox, because we're going to be building on it. It is the starting point for understanding how to take casino income and make it into an actual business, not gambling, an actual business. So if you want to get your hands on it, I'll put the link once again in the description. And the price that we have it at, you're not going to be able to find a business structure, the beginning pieces of a business. It is packed with strategies as well as money management stuff for you to get started on this journey, and it's only the beginning. So the price will be going up. I wanted everybody to have a shot at it before we had to move the price up. Over the next 3 to 5 days, I can't tell you exactly when, there is going to be another major situation that we've been building to with where we're going and the evolution of Cruise Casino Mafia and what we're morphing into. So be on the lookout for that. A lot of things changing. It's very exciting after 2.5 years. So there'll be a major announcement here, a lot of free stuff, a lot of giveaways, a lot of stuff going on. But today I thought I would take a deep breath and I would show you a bubble craps or regular craps strategy. I think it's a little bit more aggressive, slightly, than some of the things that I've given private members over the last few months and that you're getting in some of the Paycheck Series courses that we've come out with and what are coming out. But it is not an aggressive strategy. I think it just maybe is slightly more volatile. But maybe I'm wrong. That's the reason why you have to test and evaluate everything. So I'm also going to put probably a link to Waylon, Waylon's Way Craps. He has a strategy that he's been showing lately that is similar to this. And I do it slightly different, but not by much. So what we're going to do is he rolls it out from the don't pass initially. I roll it out from the don't come. And when you want to use the don't come, you have to wait until there's a point. Okay, we've got a point. So we'll do this on the big boy level, but you can dummy this down to play it at bubble craps. So we're going to do a don't come here, right? And then we're going to do $25 bets across like this. All right. So the risk is here on this first roll because we're risking all of our money is at risk right now. All right. So we move to the 9 and we also got paid $35 on that 9. So the way that this strategy works is, and this is why I say to you that it's a slightly more aggressive than some of the other things that I do, not tremendous aggression. We're going to take 25 of this 35, right? We won 35. We're going to take 25 and we're going to go outside in. So basically what's going to happen is oh, you know what? I'm sorry. We were not supposed to be taking the 4 and 10 with this. We're only taking the inside numbers. Okay. So now what happens is I'm going to take this 25. So you're starting with a 5, 6, 8, 9. There's 100 here, and there's 100 on here, right? So we're going to take that part of the money. $10 is going to the rack. The other 25 we're going to take, and we're going to push it to the inside and bump up our 8, all right? And that's where we're at right now. I'm not going to worry about the caps today. I'm just going to pretend like we're playing bubble craps, even though we're playing at the bigger level. So here we go. All right, that's a 4. We don't have a 4 with this strategy. And there's a 7 out. All right? So what happens is when the DC moves, it's an even money bet. We get paid 100, right? But we also made a little bit of money because we made money on that original 9 that was hit when we got the DC, right, on the place bet. And we took 25. We did lose that along with the other place money, but that was profit. So now we're up $10, no big deal, and we're going to roll again. All right, the point is 4, and now we can go back out with our DC bet and our 25 here, 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 and here. All right, so if you were doing this, let's say at a bubble craps level, right? You could do this, you could mix it up, right? You can do $12 here, right? And you can do $3 on each one of these, or some ratio that's similar to that. So you can definitely dummy this down tremendously. You could do $4 here, and you could do $1 on these, on bubble craps. So you could really dummy this down and have a good time playing with it at a much lower level. So here we go. So now we want to get this DC to move to one of the numbers, preferably one of the numbers that we already have money on. Okay, that is a 7 out. So that's the worst case scenario because that's when we are at risk, right? We're at risk for these because there's no hedge and there's 100 here. And that's why this strategy for me is a little bit more volatility. This is a winning strategy, but you have to be okay with the volatility. Now, in terms of laddering up, I try not to ladder up with this strategy as much as I can. But in this case, we're down. We're not in profit. So we're going to ladder this time. So first we have to get there we go. So we're going to ladder up. So this is going to go to 200, and these are going to go to 50 each. Okay? And we definitely want the DC to move to one of these so we can make money right away. All right, and we did. So there you go. So we just made $58, basically $60 on this 6, and the DC moved to the 6. So when we make money on an inside number, what we'll do is we'll press the outside number. So we'll take 50, right? We made about 60. We'll take 50 and we'll press the 5. Now, if you want to press it for less, you can do that as well. Okay, you can do that as well. You can do a half press and just press it for the 25. So that's what we'll do this time. Since we're not in profit, we'll try to be a little bit more conservative. And we'll just press the 5 for 25. All right, and there we go. Unfortunately, we made money on the 6 again, but we lost our DC bet. Right? We lost our DC bet. So what we're going to do, and here again, this is the flexibility. This would normally press again the 5. And we'll do that. We're just going to press it 25 instead of the 50. Okay? But we have to put a new DC bet out. So we're just going to replace the DC with a $200 bet. We're not laddering up again. All right, we're back on the 6 with the DC, and we got paid on the 6. So this time what we'll do is we're going to press the 5 again, another 25. Now, if the 8 hits, we're going to press the 9. If the 9 hits, we're going to press the 8. And I just flip-flop back and forth. You see the puck is off, but we're going to make it that all bets are working. Right? You have to tell the dealer if you're playing this on a regular table or hit the button on the bubble craps, or these bets won't be working. So we're going to have everything working because we do have our DC in place. If the DC was not in place, we would not have these bets working. All right, that's an 11, nothing happens. Another 11. Okay, and there's a 5. We made $175 back. We're still not at break even though, right? But we made $175. So what we'll do is we're going to press the 6, right? We made money on the 5, we're going to press the 6. We're going to press it 50. And I'll tell you why, because we're still behind. Normally we'd press it a lot more than that based on what we made, but we're not going to do that. We're going to play it a little bit more conservative. So we'll press the 6, 50. All right, that's a 2, nothing happens. And there's the 6 again, all right? Unfortunately, we lost our DC bet again. That's twice. But we did make money on the 6, all right? So it's helping us. We're making money here, but we're still not back to break even, all right? So here we go again. We've got to replace the DC, and we're back at 200. We're still at this level 2 DC bet. Wow. And we're back on the 6 again. We made 116. This time we'll press 50. But this time we're going to, instead of going back to the 5, what we'll do to mix it up is we'll press the 9. All right? We should be using the 6 to press the 5, but that's all that we've had is action here. So what we'll do is we'll just switch it up, and this time we'll press the 9 to 50. And here we go. All right, that's a 10. We don't have a 10. 2 10s. A 4. We don't have a 4. All outside numbers are hitting. And there's the 5. That's a real good one. We made another 175, right? And that was the point, so the puck came down. We don't really care as long as we make sure we're working. So we're going to take another 50 of this 175, and we're going to bounce our 5 again up another 50. Now, understand, if we would have pressed fully, instead of being conservative, pressed more of the amount that we're winning, we would already be way into profit or at least break even. But we're playing it a little bit more conservative on this first roll. All right, so here we go. And it's a 7 out. All right. Now, that you may think that was bad, but we had $200 here anyway, right? So we lost what was out here, but we had already made back most of that money. So the money that you saw on here was a lot of it, or all of it, was pressed money. It was profits. Because look where we're at. We're only $50 off now. So we can go back to level 1. We don't want to stay on that higher level with the $200 don't come. So let's roll. That's a 12, not a point. And there's our point. So now it triggers us to go back out with our level 1 don't come and our $25 bets here. Okay? And there we go. DC moves to the 8. We get paid $30 on the 8. So basically what we're going to do now is we're going to take $20 of the 29 and we're going to press the 9. Okay, so we have a press 9. Here we go. All right. Unfortunately, it was a 7 out, right? But look at this. We started with 99.40 something, and we're now at 99.52.50. So the hedge situation with the DC is helping, right? It's helping. And that's all we can ask. So let's do another roll. All right, that's a 7, but it doesn't hurt us because we're not playing the don't pass. We're playing the DC as our hedge. So now we're going to go back out on the DC. And we're going to do a 25, 25, 25, and 25. And now we are at risk. This is when you're mostly at risk. The biggest amount of risk. Because a 7 out now kills us and we lose everything. We lose 200. Okay? So we need this to be a 2 or a 3 and we instantly win. Or we need this to move to any of the numbers. Beautiful. All right. Now, it's not optimal because we would have wanted the DC to move to one of these so we make money instantly. but we're now hedged, all right? So the only thing that can really hurt us now is a 10, is a repeater 10. Because if a 10 comes, we're going to lose this bet. So it's now time for these numbers to start hitting. Okay, and there's a 9. We made 35. So we're going to take 25 of the 35, and we're going to build up our 8. So we're just going to put 25 here, and here we go. All right, and there's the 8, which was built up, which is fantastic. So now we made about $60 on the 8, right? So we're going to take 25 of that and build up the 9. We're building inside, outside. That's the way I do it anyway. A 3 doesn't hurt us or help us. And there's the 6. We made $30 there. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 25 and we're going to build up the outside number, the 5, okay? And that's another 6. So again, that time, you know what we'll do? We'll take that money that time. We won't build on that one. We'll just take that as profit. And now we're on a come out roll. And we are working because we do have our DC in place. All right, there it is. So what ended up happening there, again, we made some money on the roll, and the 7 came. These lost, but we were hedged with the DC bet. So look where we are. We started out and we were down, 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 and with a little bit of patience, we're now up $30. So let's keep going. All right, 10 is the point. That's the table's point. And now we want to establish our point, which is the DC. So we're going to go back with our 100, 25 on the inside bets, and now we have to just cross our fingers and hope for something other than a 7. And it is. We moved to the 6. We made $30. We're going to build the 5 from the 6. We're going to add 25 to the 5, and here we go. It's a 2, no harm, no foul. And there is a 3, so that didn't really help us much. But look what happened. We still edged up a little bit in our balance. And that's what the hedge story does with the DC. Okay? So let's do it again. All right, 7. If we were playing the don't pass, we would have gotten killed there. But we're not. I used the DC instead of the don't pass. You'll see in Waylon's video that I'm putting the link to in the description, he starts with the don't pass, and then if he gets nailed, he switches to the DC. I really use the DC more than the don't pass for this type of strategy. Okay, points 8. Let's jump back out there with our DC bet and our inside place numbers, place bets. Okay, it moves to the 4. So this is our point, basically, right? This is our don't pass, all right? The only difference is that, you know, the only way we get hurt here is if the 4 comes before the 7. Okay? That's really the only way we get hurt, because if the 7 out comes now, it's a break even. We win 100, we lose all of these, which is 100. All right, it's a 2, nothing. And there's the 9. So we got paid 35. So we're going to take 25 of our profits and we're going to push it to the inside 8. There we go. And now we made money on the 5. We made 35. So now we'll take 25 and push it to the 6. And there's our bumped up 6 that just made money. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. The rule says take that money and push it to the 5, or part of this money. It's up to you how aggressive you want to be. I'm going to lock up that one set of profit. Okay, so I'm not going to bump up the 5 on that one. And you see how you can do that. That's the flexibility. So that one I'm going to put in the rack. I'm going to rack it. I'm not going to bump up the 5 on that one. And here we go. All right, nothing. Nothing. Okay, and there's the 7. So again, we were hedged, and it was good that we took that extra money and we put it in the rack. Look where we are. Now we're at $111 up. So obviously we want the shooters to roll a bunch of numbers. That's how you really make a ton of money with this strategy. But even when they're not holding the dice that long, we got in trouble. We came out of trouble. We were up a little bit of money, and now we're up 111. So let's keep going, and I'll show you a little more. Their point is 5, the table's point. So now we're going to put 100 in the DC, and we're going to go back out on the 5, 6, 8, 9, and we have to cross our fingers. This is where we're at the most risk. Okay, finally you get to see what happens. We actually made instant money on the don't come because it was a 3. So we got paid 100 already. So we're instantly up $100 more than we were. And here we go. And it happened again. That's back-to-back 3s. Can't get any better than that. And we just replaced the DC bet because in this software, they just push it back down. Okay, we moved to the 9. We made $35 on the 9. So now what we're going to do is we're going to bump up the 8. All right, 7 out, unfortunately. But look at our balance. He didn't even hold the dice there. Now, why did that happen? Because we got lucky with the 2s and 3s and the don't come. So the moral of the story is you're going to lose to the 7 here. But you're also going to win along the way occasionally with the 2 and the 3s. I'm not telling you that that evens out. 7s are going to come up more than 2s and 3s. But the 7s, when they come here, you always have a heart attack about it. But realize some of those will be made up over time with the 2s and 3s. We're already up $321. Okay, without that much stress. There was a little stress at the beginning. Let's keep going. 6 is their point. Back out with the 100. And our place bets. And crossing our fingers for no 7. And there it is. So you get to see the worst case scenario. We're still in profit, though. You see that? So even though that's the worst case scenario, we're not going to go up. Oh, that's too bad. It's a 2. It's too soon. We can't be in the DC until the puck moves. If the puck had already moved, we would have made our money back there. Wow. 2 and 3. Okay. So now we have the opportunity to go back out. That's a shame, those wasted 2s and 3s. But there's nothing we can do about it. And here we go. All right. DC moves to the 6. We made $30 on the 6. So what we'll do is we're going to press our 5. We're going to go inside to out pressing on this one. And we pressed our 5 to 50. And there's the 8. We made $30, and we're going to do the same thing. Now we're going to go press the 9. Okay, so now we need 5s and 9s. That doesn't do anything for us. We don't have a 10. And there's the 7 out, unfortunately. So that did hurt. So it didn't really help us at all because we didn't hit any of the press numbers before the 7 came out. We didn't get killed because we have that hedge bet. So we were up 300, now we're up 130. So we're kind of going back and forth a little bit, and that's the way it is when you use hybrid type systems. You have to get comfortable with that. You can't get frustrated, because once somebody holds the dice for a 20 roller, we make $1,000 in minutes. Okay, in minutes, if you have a guy that holds the dice for a few minutes. All right, so there's the 9. Let's go back out. Let's see if we can right the ship a little bit. We're still in profit. And here we go. And that did not do it. That took us all the way down because that's another 7 out at the wrong time. So now we're back down again. All right? So just to show you guys, we're not down that much. So I probably would not really ladder up. But I'm going to ladder up just to show you how it works. So we've got to get a point. There we go. So I'm going to ladder up, even though that's a little more aggressive than I would normally be in the real world, just to see how it works out. If I'm within $50 of break even, I really don't do any laddering, almost with any system when it comes to craps, most of the time. All right, so there we go. Moves to the 5, and we got paid $35. So now, oh, I made a mistake, guys. The ladder up, these should have been 50. So I just cost us, I just cost us money there because these were supposed to ladder up to 50 each. All right. Unfortunately, that's the story. But we did make money on that roll, on the 5 hitting. So what I'll do to make up for it is I'm not gonna press anything. Okay. Oh, not good. So we lost our DC bet, but we did make money on the 5, right? So we're gonna have to replace the DC. All right, moves to the 10. All right, there's the 9. We made $70. We're going to press the 8 for 50. There's the 6. Okay, we made $60. We'll press the 5 for 50. There's the 8. That was a good one. We made 116. We'll press the 9 by 50. And it's up to you how much you want to press, how aggressive you want to be. And there's the 7 out, unfortunately. Now, that was a decent roll because we were down from getting whacked 2 times in a row. So we're almost back to break even again, right? So you're not seeing the strategy take off and make $1,000 at the moment. But what you are seeing is how fast the recovery can happen. And that's just as important. Well, to me, it's even more important. I believe any strategy in any game is only as good as the recovery because you're going to have the bumps in the road. So for me, the recovery is probably more important than anything else. All right, so we are going to go back. This is basically 99.30. Now, most people will say to you, and it's perfectly normal to say, well, you're not back to anywhere near where you were. You were up $300 at one point. So you can stay at the level 2 bets. And you can definitely do that. All right. But I play it a little bit more conservative than that. I don't need the stress. I know how good the strategy is. So the fact of forcing myself to get back to where I was is not my primary goal. Even though you hear that from YouTubers all the time. What's your session high? You've got to get back to your session high. And they push the envelope. I'm not going to push the envelope. I'm just going to go back to level 1. Now, that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with staying at a level 2 scenario. But I'm just going to go back to level 1. And thank God I did because it was an 11. We're just going to replace the DC bet because we lose on the 7 or 11 when you have money here. Okay, there's a 6. We made money on the 6. So now I'm going to press the 5. I made money on the 6. I'm pressing the 5. 10. And it's another 7 out. All right. So we're just going to stay at that level. We're still down. But I'm not going up. Or do you want me to go up to show you what it looks like? Oh, 2. All right, I'll go up. Just to show you guys. I probably would not in real life. So level 2 is 200, and these go up to 50. But again, that's up to you. There's no rule that says what you need to do. This is the more aggressive, in my way of looking at things, way of playing. But by going to level 2, and if this guy has a roll right now, not only does it bring you back, but it may say to you, you're done for the session. So there's always, and that's the problem. So now you put yourself more in the hole by staying at the level 2. So that's why I go back to level 1 that quickly. Now, it could just as easily have been a monster roll. So I don't want you to think that I'm just playing the situation. Because I hate when people do that. So here we go. We have to stay at level 2, obviously. And again, this is a demo to show you how the movement is. I don't care whether we lose $1,000 or make $12 million. I'm showing you the demo here. There's nothing that can happen in a 25-minute video that should tell you this is the greatest or the worst thing. That comes from the evaluation, research, and constantly doing simulations, and that's a big part of the Casino Diversification Toolbox course. So here we go. Cross your fingers. All right, so 12, we didn't lose any money. It's a break even on 12. And there's a 7 out again. So we got crushed again. So we are going to have to go up to level 3 if we ever get a point. So you guys are seeing the worst of the worst. So now level 3, 300 in my situation, what I'm playing for. And these go to 75 each. And by the way, we were up $300. You could have quit. So you're seeing the good and the bad. All right. We made $87 basically, right? So we'll take 50 and we'll press the 9. That's a 4. And there's an 8. So unfortunately, we got nailed again on the DC bet. We did make money on the 8 here, but it's not enough. So we have to go back out on the DC. All right, there we go. That was a good one. We made $175. We'll take $100 of that, and we'll bump up the 8. 12 does nothing. That's a 5. We made 105. We'll take 50 of the 105, and we'll bump up the 6. And all bets are working, even though this is a come-out roll. All right, there we go. That's a $204 win, right? So we'll take 100, and we'll bump up the 9. Whoops, what happened there? I don't know what happened there, guys. There we go. All right, we made money on the 5. We made 105 again. We'll take 50 and bump up the 6. So the main thing I want you to see is not whether we're winning and losing here. It's how we're playing this strategy. All right, we made money on the 8, right? Really good money on the 8. We made $204. We'll take 100 and we'll bump up this 9 again. Okay, and this is a come out roll. Here we go. All right, 10 is the point. 4, which we don't have. Where are our numbers here? There they are. There's a 5. We made 105. We'll take 50 of it and bump up our 6. Now we're loaded up here. We're loaded up. That's a 10. No harm, no foul. We're working to come out. And there's the 9. All right. So we lost our DC bet, but we made decent money on that roll, right? And we got paid for the 9. So now we have to come back out. We're still at level 3. So we're back out there with a $300 DC bet. It moves to the 6. We made $262. We'll bump up the 5 by 100, and we'll bank the rest. There's the 10. We don't have anything on the 10. An 11. And there's the 7 out, unfortunately. So we're still down, right? We had the worst luck. You've seen the worst run right now, but we came all the way back. Not all the way. We're still down. So let's just keep going so you get a feeling for how to move this thing around. All right, we're still down, but I'm going to drop down to level 2, which is the $200 here and 50 here. You could stay at level 3, by the way. And I'm sure most people probably would. But I'm not going to take that much more risk. Okay, there's the 9. We made money. We made 70. So we'll bump up the 850. And here we go. And there's the 7 out, unfortunately. All right? So let's keep rolling. Right? We'll stay at level 2. So this has not been a great session. I mean, obviously you could have quit with $300, which would have been perfectly fine. But when we do demos, we're not quitting that early. So you're seeing how we're moving. We're down, but you're seeing the movement of this. Okay, that's a good one. That's a 2. We made money on the 2. So we'll stay at level 2 though. We'll go back out with the 200. We made 200 already on that. There you go. And we made 70. So we're going to bump up the 6, 50 more. And it's a 7 out, unfortunately. But look how far back. Look how far back we've come. We're not at break even yet. So let's keep going. And what I'm showing you is the power of the recovery. You've seen a god-awful last 10 minutes here. I mean, horrible. All right, 6 is their point. We're going to stay at level 2. And the main thing you should be getting out of this is how to flow and how to press the numbers, the flexibility of not having to press fully, sometimes we don't even press, we lock up the money. That's what you should be learning from this demo. Okay? There you go. The 5, we made 70. We will press the 6. And let's see if we can get a good roller. And of course, yep, there we go, 6. All right, so we made another 116. We'll press the 550. And we could press more than that, but we're not. And this is the come out roll, but we are working. All right, there's the 8. We made 60. We'll press the 950. Now we want to start hitting numbers like crazy. And there's the 6 that's been pressed. We made $116 there. We'll press the 550. All right, there's the 6 again. We made another 116. This one we'll take to the rack. Actually, you know what we'll do? We'll press the 5 again by 25. So we're taking most of it to the rack. All right, we lost our DC bet, but we made money on the 5, and we've definitely done pretty good on this roll, right? So this is what we're going to do. We will just replace our DC bet. And we made, look at that, $200 instantly. And look what we're back up. And this is, let me tell you something right now. This is not counting this. So if I take everything down right now, watch this. These are not contract bets. These can come down. Let's clear this out. Let's take the dealer, tell the dealer or hit the button to clear everything and watch where we're at. Look at that. 588. Okay? This was not a easy session. But we're up basically $600 now. Now, do you understand the other reason of me doing that is because now I can restart from the base level. You're up almost $600. So we'll do a little bit more and then we'll call it quits. We're going back to the base level. I mean, obviously, after the last 10, 12 minutes of those horrible rolls, I probably would be done. Well, no, not probably. I definitely would be done. Around $600 there. After that 20 minutes, I'm taking a break. I'm out of here for a while. Okay? I would have been frazzled by that last 10, 15 minutes. So let's be honest. I would have locked up that 600 and been thrilled to death. But we'll just play one more shooter. All right, moves to the 9. We made 35. We'll build the 8 for an additional 25. And of course, the 7 came out right away. No big deal because we made money on that shooter. Look, you're up basically 600 now. So we'll do one more. All right, there's a 7. Doesn't hurt us. But if we were using the don't pass, we would have gotten killed. Right? We would have gotten killed. And you'll see in Waylon's video, he uses the don't pass, and sometimes it's brutal. Listen, we've lost money here too, but this is way better than the don't pass for what we're doing. And he explains that in his video. So it's well worth watching his video. He's using the same numbers as me, basically the same amounts, and he makes, I think it's about $1,000 in that video. So you'll see another major session with physical dice rolled in that video if you want to watch it. All right, so let's do it one more time and then we'll call it quits. Level 1 betting. All right, we moved to the 4, which is not optimal because we'd rather hit one of these right away, but that's okay. Now we're hedged. You have 100 here, and you have 100 out on the place numbers. The only way you get hurt now is with a 4. There you go. We made 35 on the 9. We'll drop down a little bit because we're going to try to protect the money that now that we're in profit. So I'll only put 10 here instead of the full 25. How's that? Whoops. And we got knocked off our DC bet again. So we'll just replace it. Oh, right back to the 4. Here we go. Oh, you got to be kidding me. All right, so now let me show you something else. We got nailed on the D. You know what? We're just going to go back out. We're not going to do it. All right, we finally get a DC bet established. We made 25. I'm not even going to up this because we lost several times on the DC. So I'm not even going to, you know what I'll do? I'll press it. I'll press the 610. There we go. Well, good move. All right, and that was, we made 40. So now we'll press the 5 on the outside. We'll press that by 25. There we go. No harm, no foul. And there's the 8, which is great. We made $40. We will press the 9. We'll press it 20. Why am I wimping out? Press it to 25. There we go. Come out roll. All right, beautiful. We made another 40 on the 8. We'll press the 9 again. This time we'll press it 20. You see how you're not stuck on how much you want to press. That time we made 40 on the 6. We'll press the 520. Or you could press the whole 40. And then a 7 comes. All right? But look where we're at. So we lost several times in a row with the DC. But we're still up $500. Right? A little over 500. Okay? So I think you guys get the idea. All right? Is there volatility potentially with this strategy? Yes, because you're really at risk when you have money in that DC that didn't travel yet, because the 7 at that point knocks you off all your place bets and the DC bet. So you've got to learn how to kind of smoothly, move through that. You saw early on that I didn't go to level 2 right away, but if I'm not in profit, and I've lost a couple of times, I have no choice but to ladder up, right? And you have to do that to make the money back. But if you're in profit, you don't have to ladder up. Just play it cool and stay at the level that you're at, and you'll make the money back. We only had one good shooter that made us all the money back when we were down, right? If you had an early shooter that held the dice for 15, 20, 25 rolls, you could have been done in one shooter. Now, let's talk about profit target. You saw I was up over $300 early before we had the problems. The bigger problems. Being greedy is utterly ridiculous. Okay? Taking what the table gives you and walking away and fighting the next session 20 minutes later, hours later, days later is the real way to go. Most people, the biggest problem they have and the biggest mistake is that they never quit. All right? They never quit. Am I telling you that with the bankroll that's required, this is about a $5,000 bankroll. I think you can get away with about $4,000 to play at this nosebleed level that I played at. All right? The 100 with the 25s on level 1. But dummying this down, you can play with very small bankrolls. So would I have been happy with the 300 I was up if I had a $4,000 bankroll for this? I probably would have been getting close, right? But because it happened relatively early and quick, I probably would have shot for 400 plus. So I probably would have had the same thing happen and had issues where I would have had to come back like we did in this video. But if I was at $500 and I had a $4,000 bankroll and I made $400 quickly on one shooter, I probably would have called it quits. Now, many of you would say, no, I want to make 1,000. I want to make 1,200. That's up to you. But the moral of the story is you need to test with live dice being rolled. You need to get the books that show you live dice rolls. You need to test this against the simulator. You need to go to the casino and paper trade it without actually rolling and tracking to see. That's how you learn how to play these strategies. How far the rubber band stretches. How much bankroll is enough. These are all the things that we teach you how to do properly in Casino Diversification Toolbox, Module 1. So there you go. We made about $500. It was not easy. But the moral of the story is this system, when played correctly, this strategy, has great recovery potential. You can get in trouble like you saw with this strategy, right? Because you're really at risk when you have money in this don't come. You really can get in trouble. Now, what you may want to try, right, there's a little wrinkle, and I'm going to give it to you now, is this. You may want to try this. And I'm not saying that this is the right way to play. I'm saying it's a wrinkle. So let's go ahead and get a point. I'll show you this real quick. Now, we're going to go to the $100 in the DC. Now, you know what we've been doing is putting the 25s on the inside here right away. But if a 7 is rolled, you're losing all of these and you're losing the DC. Well, what happens if we stagger our entry point? What happens if we force ourselves to wait for this to move? Okay? So now it moves to the 8. So now we come out with this. Now, the negative of doing that is you just lost out on that instant money that you made on the 8 because the money was already out there. So you lost that money. So it's up to you to test to determine whether you want to stagger the entry coming in from the don't come and then putting your place bets or doing it all at the same time like I did in this video. In this instance, you would have lost out on that money, right? So if the DC would have moved to the 4 or the 10, you wouldn't have lost anything because you wouldn't have hit any of these numbers. If the DC, if the 2 or the 3 was rolled, you would have made money in the DC and you wouldn't have made money here anyway, right? But if the 7 was rolled, you lose this and all your place bets. If the 11 is rolled, you only would have lost the DC. So it's a wrinkle that you should test. If it's up to you. We didn't play that way in this video. But it's something to test out and evaluate for yourself. All right, well, that's it. This video was long enough. You guys saw us make over $500. You saw the good, the bad, and the ugly with this strategy. Okay? So do your homework and see what you think. And remember, you can play this all the way down to a $4 DC with $1 inside place bets if you're playing on bubble craps and grow your bankroll from there. You don't have to start out with these crazy amounts. And with that, be on the lookout, guys. You're going to want to subscribe to the channel if you aren't. Lots of big things coming. In the next 3 to 5 days, you're going to see the rebrand, the new name, the new logo, the new website, and a lot of free stuff coming. We are here. We're waiting to celebrate the opening of the new website and phase 2. So, again, if you haven't bought Casino Diversification Toolbox Module 1 at the launch price, you better do it soon because it's going up. And you should be able to make that money back that you're paying at the launch price very quickly with the strategies and the money management that we have in there. So that's the story. Really excited about what's coming in the next week. We've been working very, very hard. First on the new course that we launched, and second on the new website and the new rebrand. We'll see you on the next one. Be safe, stay cool in the summer, and practice this and practice and practice so you understand how it plays. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.